titans battling it out. In the top right corner, the champion of WCS Korea Season 3, the champion of Global WCS Season 3, looking to do his third in a row. It is Deer.
No Funkadelic zoom? This is not Funkadelic observing.
Well, let's see if we can get a Funkadelic zoom in the bottom right for the man who has the highest win rate in WCS this year, and that's not even including his other Summer Championship victories from Team Liquid. It is Taeja. Ooh, there it is.
It's quick. It's the clean zoom as well. Whirlwind, of course, a very good map for both players to open up as macro or as economic as possibly. You know, command center first or even a Nexus first wouldn't be unheard of. It's also possible that Deer is going for a Stargate and, you know, maybe some Oracle action, maybe a couple of Phoenixes here and there. We will see. There we do get the message that this game is observed or is brought to us by Infeza, our Australian observer, representing Melbourne and all the good things in life.
Looks like Taeja is going to be going for a command center first, as is Deer. You know, this is the map that I like to say. Actually, I don't even know why I brought me into it. This is the map where statistically we see the most command centers first, and as a result, the most Nexuses first.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that. Some people go Nexus first on every map. Some of them don't even scout. Yeah, the crazy guy, Sean. Anyway, as Sean mentioned, and yeah, as I said before as well, it's a very good map to go as for the most economic opening possible. What I'm curious to see is how Taeja is going to follow this up. Most likely with just 2 Rexes, but if it's going to be anything different, maybe he's going to try to meta Deer. If there's one thing that I've learned of the WCS Season 3 finals, is that Deer is full meta most of the time, and he actually dropped the Stargate before the Nexus, so he's a little bit worried about Taeja here. This is still very economic, but it's a little more safe.
Yeah, and you know, one of the big things that this timing from Deer also provides is warp gate pushes, because the biggest danger in this series, or excuse me, in this situation, is that you don't get your warp gates up quickly enough to defend with or to attack with. Warp gate is just like the most essential Protoss upgrade bar none, so I'm much a fan of what we're going to be seeing out of Deer. This generally looks like a 7-minute robo with, you know, like a 7-minute forge as well. That's what I'd expect Deer to do.
Yep. We can see Deer scouting in the wrong direction, unfortunately for him.
Oof.
It does kind of sting a little bit, but shouldn't shouldn't throw him off too much. Taeja is actually going to fight him immediately in the right top side.
And I like that. Look, Taeja went by the middle. You know, it's so rare for Protosses to go for that pylon in the middle, but, you know, pylon 8, gateway 10, gateway 14 to do the really aggressive stalker push, or even just occasionally proxies, does happen. And this is why Taeja has such an obscene win rate across all matchups.
Yep. You see still Deer just hovering around the left side of the map with his probe trying to find Taeja, and he's going to be a little sad when he realizes that he's going to find Taeja last, because that's basically too late for him to identify what was the opening of Taeja. Was this a 1 gas fast expand? Was this just a Rex fast expand? Or was this a command center first? Deer will never know. Now, considering the fact that he opened up quite economically himself, he's not going to be super upset about it, but still, you rather see it. Seeing is believing, ain't that right, Sean?
Amen to that. You got to believe, baby. Going to be double stalker opening out of Deer. You know, once upon a time, sentries to begin stockpiling energy was the norm for Protoss players, but since the Mothership Core has the extra special Nexus cannon spell, we always... Whoa! A 5-minute third gas. Whoa. Nothing I'm saying is anywhere near as interesting as that. Okay, Rotterdam, what build gets any gas before 6 minutes, let alone one at 5 minutes?
You know, now it's not fun anymore because he's already dropping the Twilight Console, but I was about to say I think he is going to go for a very early Twilight Console. Might just get blinked defensively or even research charge pretty early on, and will most likely drop a quick Templar Archives behind this as well. That was the only reason, or the only build I could think of.
I mean, he might throw down another gas starting now. You know what I think might wind up happening is a third base around 8 to 9 minutes with Templar and the double forge. There's a 6-minute fourth gas geyser. I mean, with gas this early, you are saying, I don't want to attack, man. No. Attacking is for tools. I'm going to just stay at home. There's the Templar Archive. So I really do think we're going to see an expansion between 8 and 9 with a double forge. Should be impossible, but when you're getting gas geysers like they're free, it can always work well.
It's going to take a little while before Deer knows about the build of Taeja, though, and that can definitely kind of throw him off a little bit, Sean, as that third command center is about to finish up already. This was not a super quick turn, as he did drop the refineries before he dropped the third command center, but still, Taeja's economy is going to be absolutely insane. And I am afraid that if he doesn't stabilize Deer, that is, on 3 bases early on, he's going to have an extremely tough time ever stabilizing it, because Taeja's production is just going to explode as soon as those 3 command centers or those 3 orbitals kick in.
Well, there's a scan the late Robo immediately means, without a shadow of a doubt, it's a Templar-based opening. I mean, well, oh, wait, never mind. Sorry, I misread. Okay, not without a shadow of a doubt. Normally in this position, you can very easily be throwing down a 7-minute robo because you're spending so much money on probes. You got 2 Nexuses very early. So Taeja, with this read that he has, he's going to be just playing very standard and cautious. I anticipate his next big move is going to be double eBay. There it is. And Storm Drops might be the choice of Deer. He's got to throw down that Expo fast.
Are you serious over here, Sean? Are we actually going to see quick Storm Drops in PvT? You know, you normally do that when you're like a Master or a Grandmaster League player and you start messing around in Gold League and you queue up a few games and you're like, I'm going to open up with Storm Drops because I'm way better than my opponent. But here, you're playing against Taeja. You're not supposed to do stuff like this.
Well, I really think that that's the non-standard play that's going to help him stand out. And now we actually get the chance to see why that Gas Geyser was going to be going down so early. He needed to have multiple Templar. You can't Storm Drop and leave your Templar at home to do nothing. Or leave no Templar at home to do nothing for defense. Ooh, that's a key misstep for Deer.
Yep, because that Stalker represented a lot of vision. It's not about the firepower that Stalker could provide in a big fight. It's about having eyes in that part of the map all the time. This Warp Prism might fly into these Marines immediately. If not, the Orbital is just going to be like, hello, Warp Prism. No, I would like actually to see what's going on with the Warp Prism. No Storm, it's just impossible for him to actually find an opening. He's still going to try, or at least he's pretending like he wants to try. Ghost Academy going down already for Taeja.
What a read from Taeja. You know, although this is a very late third for Deer. Deer has set himself up very nicely, but there's no reason to be this cautious, especially now that he's seen the 3rd command center. That Marine's going to move in. It doesn't see that there's an Expo, and suddenly if I'm Taeja, I'm going to be going, wait a minute, what are you doing? And I'm going to want to throw down those bears real fast.
Exactly. Just throw down a couple of additional Rexes, let the production explode. Good Storm there by Deer. He's able to pick off a handful of SCVs. 7 actually. Wow, that really didn't feel like 7 to me. And he did so much damage on other SCVs as well. Does this High Templar has a 2nd Storm already?
I think he's just going to be retreating to the far back right corner, and this is an obnoxious spot to be in. I mean, I almost want to research high-sec auto-tracking and just park there.
He's on 48 probes and he's moving out. He has +1 armor about to finish up. He does, of course, have Storm.
What a timing. This is what I'm talking about. This is not a timing attack. No. This is him saying, oh, wait a minute, you're pulled all the way to the back to your base. Boom, here I come with a huge attack. And Deer provided himself that opportunity having that many gateways.
I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I mean, normally I would say this is a phase in the game where Taeja's economy is about to explode. Great force field and Storm!
What a move there from Deer. Taeja's going to have to jump ship on the 3rd base immediately. +2 armors coming up. There's the pull. Incredible decision-making by Taeja, but force field going to be too strong. I think it's still an appropriate loss to take as Taeja.
We are just watching perfection here from this Protoss player, Deer, who just keeps playing on perfect. This has been such a crazy opening from right off the get-go with the moment. He's going to try to bust Taeja now here in the natural. Yes, he does have a Guardian Shield. He still has 1 or 2 Storms available, but I think he's playing with fire over here a little bit. He doesn't have to do this.
Yeah, this is a very bold play from Deer, but if there's anyone who can execute this well, it's going to be him. We're starting to see the Zealot numbers dwindle. There's not enough energy left on those Stormers. The Archons are still at the backside dealing a lot of damage. And there's what GG. Whoa! Taeja! Like a pretty natural thing to do. There's big attack angles. There's a cliff where you can easily blink up into your natural expansion. Even has no ramp, so it's very, very easy for timing and bust type plays to pull it off.
Cybergore about to finish up 4 Deer. As you can see, the Nexus being wiped in as well. So far, everything is very standard from him. And from this point on, he can literally take it anywhere. I've seen Deer in the past also drop a Stargate a couple of times on big maps like on Whirlwind. But I must say, I'm a big fan of what I saw the last game. Now, he made it look so easy, and I'm sure that he would be able to deal with lots of, you know, uncommon pushes as well. He's there after all, and scouting is everything, and he did have a Stalker on the other side of the map. But after that game number 1, Sean, I'm afraid to predict anything out of Deer. I just want to sit back and enjoy the ride and watch the magic that he shows us.
I know what you mean. I'm like, okay, now let's only analyze Taeja.
Yeah, everything's standard so far, guys, on the right top side of the map.
Deer is just going to be one of those. Really, like it's like a Zack Snyder movie. Like you don't even want to talk about what happened in it. It just looks beautiful.
I have no idea who Zack Snyder is. But
he did 300.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We saw 3rd Rex going down for Taeja. Before the refineries, what are your feels and thoughts about this, Sean?
So right now, when I'm looking at Taeja, I'm seeing that he's cut the bunker. He's going straight for the third barracks. He's going straight for the double gas. So he's actually taking this risk-taking powering to quite a significant level. He's saying you really, really cannot be dealing that much damage to me. So I'm going to cut every corner in the Terran book. This is what makes Taeja an exceptional player, because you look at him and all the numbers are there. Oh, he expanded. He has 3 barracks. He has 2 gas. But it's the order that he's doing them in that allows him to accelerate a standard play to really amazing heights.
Robo and Forge going down in the main base of Deer. Of course, couldn't agree more with you. Taeja is a man of miracles as well. You know what is kind of funny? If you look over Taeja's entire career and you see the amount of tournaments that he's won. He's won 2. He won a Home Story Cup, 2 Aces Rocks, I believe, a DreamHack, an MLG Invitational. Winning 6 major tournaments is amazing. But the highest payday that Taeja ever got of a single tournament was his 2nd place finish at DreamHack Winter. Taeja often wins the, you know, with all respect, the relatively smaller tournaments. Taeja has never won $30,000 or $40,000 like, for instance, Hero did. Blizzcon could be a massive payday for Taeja, but
oh gosh, I mean, what a round 1. But Taeja taking it in stride. He's not messing around. We don't see him making fundamental errors. I mean, he really got build vested in that game 1. That was a stunning and brilliant play from Deer. I would have had no idea how to respond, even with the observer vision cam we have.
That's what I have most of the time when I watch Deer. It's just insane. All those PvP, even when you watch him in PvP. Twilight console going down now as well. That's an interesting phase of the game to drop a Twilight, which will most likely just be for charge once more, as Deer doesn't really need blink stocks to deal with drops.
I mean, that is a really weird time.
Oh,
what an incredible scan. I mean, that observer really saw nothing. That's basically a dud obs. Now in this spot, I really like what you're saying. Very weird time to throw down a Twilight Council. Only really one build comes out of this, which is to be going 8 gates before you do anything. Twilight Council, all the tech that comes off the Twilight Council takes a long time and is expensive. Zealot charge, hell, that's 200, 200, and 140 seconds on the upgrade. So there's a charge coming out right away and gets canceled. There's a Temple Archives coming down. So, I mean,
he's going to do the same thing all over again, man. He's like, hey, that Storm Drop worked pretty good in the last game.
Well, there, it looks like he's going to be going up to the 8 gateways, and it makes sense.
Oh, there we go,
the third bases that we talked about at the start, very, very wide, spread out and open, but this is going to wildly favor Taeja and his ability to control. Taeja, I actually anticipate, is going to be going barracks 4 and 5 before he throws down his 3rd command center, so he can really exploit the big wide open spaces.
We're at 50 probes, so it's unlikely that Deer wants to really stay on 2 bases for a long time, but it does kind of look like it with all the gates he threw down. He did make quite a few observers, actually more than Deer normally makes, because I have been amazed about his PvT just game sense, in the fact that he often only had a single observer out on the map, but somehow saw all the drops incoming. It's just like, Deer, you're making me feel so stupid now, because I always tell people you should get 3 observers, or, you know, maybe even 4 if you want to be super safe. This time, however, he has 3 of them out on the map as well, and he even lost one, so that made he made quite a big of an investment in observers this game.
Oh, there it is, barracks 4 and 5. Taeja knows his opponent well. He scanned, he saw the gateways, and says, you know what? I need to be up against you, toe to toe. We can't mess around with early thirds. This is a very aggressive game, and Deer is giving a lot of respect to Taeja. We already see that there's a cannon going down, Storm coming up, +2 en route. All Taeja's got to do is take a 3rd and get 2-2, and I think that Taeja's already in a leading position.
Yes, he does have to drop the turret ASAP though, because the longer he waits, the better it is for
Okay, there it is then.
Thank you, Taeja. I wish.
Now, I hate this decision to see his Ghost Academy at this time.
Try to rely on Marina Marauders in this power tour.
I think with the amount of open space he's up against, wow, it looks like he's not even going to give Deer the opportunity to get those big storms, and he's charging. He's going to take out the Sentry, and he's taking out a good number of Zealots. He's forcing a Photon overcharge, and Taeja in this position loves to just chill and park himself at the front.
That was pretty good. 60 hour supply against 39 right now. Taeja having a soft contain on Deer here as well, forcing a defensive Photon overcharge, forcing Deer to stay as defensively as possible. Now 2 additional gates go down and the Robo Bay.
Wow, this is Deer basically waving the white flag and saying, I'm worried about dying right here, right now. I'm going to throw down 2 extra gates. I'm going to throw down the Robo facility. This defense is going to be pretty good for Deer, but he's still shirking a couple Zealots here and there, and Taeja seems to be able to take Storm straightforwardly in stride.
Ooh, that's
2 whips.
Yeah, that's the 2nd Storm already. It doesn't really connect, but for now, Deer will sort of been out of the woods. As you mentioned as well, Taeja dropped down that Ghost Academy. That's going to slow him down a little bit, certainly if he starts investing in that. The Armory is going down now as well. the second engineering bay. This was an aggressive opening from Taeja, so the fact that he picked off a few units, that was kind of bound to happen, as that, you know, he needed to do that. If he didn't do that, he would have found himself in a very bad position.
Wow. Taeja continuing to sweep in from all sides. Deer with the pylon planted so long ago. That was like his 46 supply pylon, something way, way, way long ago. We're seeing Zealots charge into their deaths. 9 gateways are on the map for Deer, but Taeja's getting
canceling that third base.
You know, this is, I really did not like that transition from Deer, going for that robotics facility in this position. And this is the exact reason that I went, ooh, when I saw the Ghost Academy coming down. Would Taeja have enough units to be able to take out the third? But, you know, I forgot one critical piece, Rotterdam.
The Deer is unpredictable.
That it's Taeja, man. Taeja can get away with that stuff. He has enough control. He has good enough macro to make 5 barracks do wonders.
95 army supply against 83. Most of it was in the main base though, chasing down a factory. Taeja tried to capitalize on it and maybe pick off the Nexus. That's not going to work. Now second starport going down already as well. Taeja is on top of everything in this game. Deer knows what's going on. He just can't really do much about the things that he actually sees. He's even researching Blink now, which is, you know, funny to be researching Blink on 2 bases when you're only mining off 4 simulators and you're also trying to get Colossi out.
It's the everything tech. Well, I don't need a third. I'm spending all my money. I got a perfect economy.
Crazy amount of mules going down as we see the income tab is just kind of exploding now. Good storm there. Second storm maybe slight overkill, but at least Deer will stabilize. Still, Deer needs time, and I think if Taeja is able to find that window of opportunity, and he's flying by with medevacs, might be able to make something happen in the main bases. There are not too many units here for Deer. I think that Taeja is going to set himself up for a pretty good position in roughly, ooh, that's a double feedback, that hurts.
and they both just jettison out.
Still 14 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, jeez. 14. I mean, you and I were talking about like his 7-minute third bases in this matchup, and here he's going for a little bit, like half the pace. You know, no big deal. This is a long, slow distance day. It ain't a sprint day.
He's like, let's not worry about it. I still got my stalkers. I still got Storm. I have a few Colossus in production as well.
Oh my God! Seeing the stalkers warp in. Every Terran player knows that when stalkers warp in.
Oh, Taeja on the south side of the map. Taeja on the south side of the map might be able to cancel this Nexus once more. We do have 11 or even 13 Blink Stalkers against only 6 Vikings, but Vikings are being produced 3 or 4 at a time. I think Taeja might be able to deal a lot of damage, and he should be able to defend on the other side of the map as well. But he's going to need some good EMPs.
He lost the key medevac. He's got to unload and skip
now.
Oh my God, the storm!
No.
The storms of the century land! Deer, who's been up against the ropes the entire game, may have just pulled the miracle that he needed. Now all of a sudden Taeja is on the run. He's pulling up everything. EMPs blanket all of those Zealots. And this is the GG that's what the what? What? Huh?
Yes, Sean.
No.
Try to summon it all up, because I really don't understand this anymore. It seems like Taeja played a really good game, was on top of everything. Nothing was really going Deer's way. And then Jay just runs across the map, lands a couple of storms, and wins the game against one of the best Terran players in the world, and takes a 2-0 lead here in the round of 16.
Ah, what a silly, I mean, that's, oh God, okay, let me give some context here. I'm rooting for Taeja. Deer's probably my favorite Protoss player to watch, but, you know, as a human with opinions, I'm rooting for Taeja.
Nothing wrong with that.
And that I would really call an amateur mistake. That was like, you're against a Protoss who's on 2 bases.
Yeah,
on 2 bases forever. You've gotten 3 bases. You've gotten your upgrades. You've gotten your ghosts going. Everything is going your direction. And you know what you don't want to do then? Split your army up. Because, I mean, I was talking a little bit about the ghosts. I do think the ghost transition was far too early. You want the 8 barracks. You want to accept the 2-base army with a maxed and amazing amount of production. But splitting the army up completely sabotaged Taeja's advantage. And that's just a shocking and frustrating game to watch.
I feel above all the fact that he didn't see that army make his way across the map while he was still active with a drop on the south side of the map. Somehow, Deer was able to march across the map and then also send a High Templar up to the high ground, land not 1, not 2, but 3 or 4 absolutely massive storms on top of Taeja's army. While Taeja is the defending player in that stage of the game, That should have been the other way around. What should have happened, Sean, and what happens in my ladder games, and I'm sure in the games from so many Protoss players at home, is you send your High Templars in, you hope that's going to happen, but no. All you hear is like, pew, pew. It's like the ghost snipe. Some ghost sniping High Templars. For some reason, there just lands the biggest storms on Taeja's army, and Taeja just is not able to defend, not even remotely close to holding.
Wow, up in the top right-hand corner.
This man deserves a zoom.
Having come off a back-to-back championship, even when he's up against one of the sickest Terran versus Protosses of all time, even when he's up against one of the sickest Terrans who's currently in peak form, not even talking about reputation, I'm talking about performance in the now, he still leads 2-0. He's from Team Seoul. His name is Deer. Oh yes, Infeza de Obs. Spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner, reputed to be the most consistent Terran of all time, always able to perform at the highest levels, advancing to the semifinals or finals of a little over 40% of the tournaments he enters.
A ridiculous amount, that's for sure.
From Team Liquid, it is Taeja.
Taeja said it as well in the hype video we showed you guys earlier this morning. My toughest opponent might be my opponent in the first round. If I'm able to get through him, then I can probably go very, very far. Well, so far, it's been a very rough tournament for all the Team Liquid players and Team Liquid fans, as Hero lost earlier today with a 3-1 score against SOS. And Hero didn't play poorly, it was just SOS playing a little bit better. And so far, Taeja versus Deer, I feel like we just started. I feel that I'm watching the first game now and I'm still as excited as I was before the series. But somehow we're looking at a 2-0 lead for Deer, just like roughly 20 minutes into this series, and we're looking at a Protoss player that actually seems unbeatable. How on earth can you make it look so easy, Sean?
You know, it's one of those things where I'm sure you've experienced this in your ladder games where you give up. You know, like let's say you're playing a regular Terran fellow.
Yes.
You have your defenses split. You've got 3 bases. You're feeling pretty important because you got 3 of them, and it's before 10 minutes. Ooh. Bring out the chocolate shoes, man. It's time to be fancy tonight. And you know what happens? You get rushed, or you get pushed by usual Marine medevac. You lose your third. And what do? You say, oh, dude, screw it. I'm all in. You just go for it. But Deer never makes that decision. He's in horrible spots. He waits very patiently, and he does something that, in theory, isn't even possible. He waits for his opponent to make a mistake. And he's the one player I've seen every single time consistently devote everything he has to exploiting that mistake. What was the mistake last time? You got 2 medevacs. I just feedbacked him, and you went down and left? Well, I'm going to attack you because you're down 16 supply of units. And there it was, an easy win. I mean, it's amazing to see. Game 1, you have all your units in the main base. I'm going to attack your third with 7 gates. Deer with stunning timing.
Great force fields, great storms in general, just great execution of everything, excellent map control. Interesting as well once more that he made 4 observers in the last game, which is kind of unlike Deer, as Deer just has like this natural sixth sense of when he knows when medevacs are flying in. Deer is going to proxy a pylon in an unorthodox phase of the game, and I don't think that's just for, you know, a scouting pylon. Let's get that pylon out there so I can warp in some stalkers in a certain phase of the game. I think we're going to see a 1-gate fast expand into a proxy Stargate. Deer, this is not a build order.
What? I look at this build and I'm like, wait, what? This is Deer. This is what makes him an exceptional Protoss player. There's, you know, I'd almost say that when you have something as complicated, as difficult, and as challenging as playing StarCraft 2 at a high level, what do? You create rules, or even rules of thumb, and you obey them because they provide a way to just alleviate the mental strain for you to be able to wrap your head around what's going on and make important decisions there.
Taeja has been playing very crazy as well this game, though. Taeja not afraid anymore. Taeja's like, you know what, I'm down 0-2 so far. I've played safe, I've did everything right, and somehow I'm down 0-2 without really, you know, this series barely starting. So I'm just gonna go one Rex fast expand into a factory, into a starport, and I'm gonna try to do maybe a Widowmine drop, maybe a little bit of Marine drop, or Marines and Widowmines at the same time. But is he going to have something at home to deal with the Oracle? I am very afraid,
I don't
Sean.
think so. I don't think he's going to have anything to deal with this Oracle. It's about to pop out. Not only is the build order from Deer good, but it's also timing-wise brilliant. The Oracle's going to swing in right, or wait a minute, the Medevac's not quite out yet.
The Medevac is not out yet, so a couple of those units are still in the natural, but still, there is absolutely nothing defending this mineral line. Taeja did not expect a proxy Stargate after scouting a 1-gate fast expand, and Sean, I really
he misses
can't
half
blame
his
him.
units. He misses half of them. Oh my God, 8 workers down, 9. It's going to be 10. It's going to be 11. Is he going to even get 12? Oh no, he's headed to the natural expansion. Deer has already conquered the game with a single unit. Oh, see you later, Oracle. But you know what? The lead lies with Deer.
And now he's getting Phoenixes as well. Phoenix can be extremely good in tracing out his Medevac. There is a Medevac out in the middle of the map, and I'm sure that Deer is aware of it. Phoenixes are getting very close. It's getting awkwardly close towards his Medevac.
Oh my God. Oh no, he's going to boost into it.
He should see it now.
Oh, and there it is in an instant turnaround. He has to drop now. He has to drop now. There are opportunities to lift, but Taeja's going to be able to head home.
Yeah,
What a
Taeja
play.
is going to have to back up, but that's still after losing 14 workers early on. There's going to be more and more Phoenixes, and with the build that Taeja chose, it is inevitable that he's going to get way more SCV kills than he's got so far, as these Phoenixes are going to be unstoppable for unsipped Marines. There's not a single missile turret out there. The eBay is up actually, so I'm very surprised.
Jeez. You know, I mean,
This is just, oh, he lost a Phoenix there. That's a little sloppy.
You know,
nice to know that Deer is human.
you know, can I talk to you as a person for a moment, Kevin?
Yes, I'm all here.
You know, it's like, well, how else would you talk to Sean as a robot? You know, so obviously I think I've talked about the fact that Taeja is I'm a big Taeja fan. Big Deer fan because, you know, I'm a Protoss player, but I'm an enormous fan of Taeja, and I want him to succeed in this tournament. I think this is a big opportunity for him. But as a caster, you always want to make sure that what you say in a tournament doesn't hold some sort of weird bias. So you look at what you say, you compare it to statistics and data, you go back and you make sure you get in the habit of just talking about the statistics and where that's coming from and all that stuff.
I understand.
And the reason I bring all of this up is because Taeja really is, statistically speaking, one of the greatest Terran vs. Protosses of all time, and Deer is making this look easy.
Gonna fly in with Phoenixes once more. There is a Widowmine, and it's actually gonna connect with a Phoenix, so it takes a lot of damage. But as you said, he is already transitioning into charge. Storm is already starting as well.
I'm looking at these numbers, and like I almost want to say, Deer is making this look unfair. Deer is making this look impossibly good. He seems to be sneaking in minerals in some way. I don't even know how he's able to manage his economy so well, but if you look at the subtle times of when he starts and stops probes, it's very, very particular, allowing him these timing windows to open up possibilities like this. And there Taeja sees the, he's got to drop. He's got to take it out.
And he's so mad right now because he's like, this doesn't even make any sense. This is how he feels. He's gonna fly in.
Too impossible.
Have to be very careful. It does seem like Deer just has this magic touch at the moment where, you know, normally you say everything he touches turns into gold. Well, everything Deer does just works for some reason. But Taeja's not down and out yet. Let's not count him out. We're still talking about one of the most successful Terran players of all time.
That
and one
Ghost
of the best
Academy,
as well.
what is he doing? I think this is a strong misplay.
I don't think that there's any window for him anymore to make something happen with Marines and Marauders. Or what would you like to see him do?
You know, if he goes Ghost Academy, he's got to stay held back, passive, slow. Thorzan-like, really. But I know Taeja. He's going to begin pushing. There's a scan. He's looking for opportunities to push out. I mean, you can't replenish with 5 barracks against, I mean, look at how many gateways we're seeing out of the Protoss player. He's already got 7. He's at the Templar archives. He's getting a Robo. He's going to be adding on more gateways. You just can't keep that pace. You got to conserve your Terran units. And ooh, I love this. Taeja poaching forward with Marines being cautious.
Yeah, Taeja is basically saying right now, okay, I'm going to be active for a while with the units I have on the map. Hopefully I keep you on the back feet. Hopefully you get worried, maybe waste some resources or minerals into static D. And meanwhile at home I'm going to build up a lot of goals, so by the time that we fight, I'm going to be able to EMP the heck out of your army. Now we also see the Robo Bay going down. That's the second Phoenix that Deer lost, by the way, that he didn't have to lose. Not that one. And even Deer making a few mistakes here as he's lifting up 2 Phoenixes at or 2 SCVs at the same time.
I'm almost scared to say this because of what Deer is capable of. Taeja has a lead. There's not a lot of good space control for Deer. His Zealot count is at 9. His Gateway count is at 7. On 3 bases, you want it closer to 12, sometimes even 15, you know, if you're playing like LGIM's first. But, that's a joke that like 8 people appreciate.
Yeah, I know.
I know you like that.
I even had to think about it. I was like, yeah, that's kind of funny.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he does. He does get 15 gateways.
That's how first place.
Uh-oh.
You have to be so careful because these medevacts have so much energy. Feedback is going to be absolutely insane against his army. Here comes the Knight Templar with so much energy. Oh no, Taeja, I think you're making a big mistake here as you're going to be very committed.
Gotta be careful. He's gotta get out of there now. The Zealots are warping in at the backside, and Taeja also has the knowledge that there's a warp prism somewhere on the map. His vision sweep at the north side is quite strong, but he doesn't have the watchtower. A sloppy mistake out of Taeja. Absolutely needs to secure that. They're free watchtowers. Once you get Marine Medevac Marauder, the watchtowers are Terrans. They should beat Terrans until 18 minutes, and yet there they are blank. Deer even has the south one and is heading in to hit the third.
Might be able to land a big storm over here as well. A lot of Marines stimming in.
Oh!
Templar storms the mules instead and picks off a few SCVs. Not a massive storm. Sean, don't you think that was a mistake in the main base of Deer? Deer had a High Templar with almost 200 energy. Instead, he lands 2 Storm. I think if he feedbacks 3 medevacs, or maybe 2 medevacs in the Storm, he guarantees himself way more kills. Don't you think so?
I really agree. I think that's a great analysis, too, because it's so easy to want to make the big play, but you know what's always going to help? The guaranteed base, or the guaranteed play. Feedback always works. You never miss with a feedback.
And certainly once they have so much energy, it's a guaranteed kill. A nice EMP there on top of the Observer. Has to be careful that he doesn't EMP his Ghost.
If there's one person who can come back in this spot, it is Taeja. Look at those great force fields from Deer. He needs 4 to block that, but he throws down 3 with a little bit of a spread so he can conserve energy just with the threat of eventually blocking off. And will Taeja be able to nail these EMPs?
We currently have 10 ghosts out on the map against 7 High Templars. This is a phase of the game where you would say, Taeja, this is doable. You might be able to find a window of opportunity to fight, but he's waiting for those +2 armor upgrades to finish up. Deer on the other end is already on 1-3, +3 is on the way as well. The best thing that's ever going to happen for Taeja is to fight with 2-2 upgrades against 1-3, and that's not that bad, but it's going to have to happen right here, right now. There are no Vikings out on the map. There are 4 Vikings in production.
Whoa. With no Vikings out on the map.
Oh,
EMPs at a time.
Oh, big one.
Wow, 2 back-to-back fantastic EMPs. Taeja
great snipes as well.
Playing excellently when he's on the ropes. Deer shows that 1 attack is all he needs to win. This isn't a game-changing attack, but when you're up against Deer, this is all that it takes. We're seeing amazing repositioning by Protoss.
So far, so good for Taeja. A lot of High Templars did get picked off. Some of them have no energy. These are storms that deal a little bit of damage, but that's something that Taeja can eat. He needs a few Vikings. That's what he has right now.
And there's the EMPs. He kites back. The Zealots disappear. And soon enough, the remainder of Deer's army is going to be a pile of Protoss rubble.
Sick control by Taeja.
What a play by Taeja, pulling back the injured Marine Marauder, sniping when he needs to, keeping every single ghost alive and with plenty of energy, not panicking and flooding EMPs and snipe. What a great move.
And above all, he reset the Colossi count, which is so important. 1 more EMP lands on a couple of these High Templars. No Storm available. I think Deer is making a big mistake dropping all these Archons here.
EMPs land on the Archons.
Oh my god, Taeja. Taeja just like rolling kind of over Deer right now. He's going to pick up all these Archons. Stalkers will be able to pick up a few of these medevacs, which is going to make it hard for Taeja to continue the aggression. But that was an absolutely fantastic engagement. Fantastic 2 fights basically, because it was too long for 1 fight by Taeja. One of the best ghost control that I've seen in a while.
What stunning ghost play. I mean, you talked about this. Sure, his mid-game units, Marine Marauder, Medevac are fantastic, but his ghost control, bar none. probably the best Terran player in the world at making all those EMPs and snipes land, and that was an example of it in that crowd. But Deer knows how to flank with the Templar, lands 2 good storms, but is it even enough? Taeja backs up great control with great micro, great decision-making the engagements. Down goes the Colossus, down goes the remaining troops. 4 base is still staying.
Few additional Zealots running in, and Zealots are pretty hard to kill with +3 armor upgrades. Nice micro by Taeja, picking the ghost up a couple of times, keeping it alive as well, even in fights like this. But he needs to do snipe that 4th base though, because the moment +3 finishes up for Deer, it's going to get really #dicey. So he's going to have to try to make something happen, maybe pick off a few probes. It's going to be hard because the Colossus is here to maybe save the day. Where are the reinforcements, Taeja?
Well, looks like Taeja's just slowly poking his way forward. He's going to be losing these units in theory, but I mean, geez, Taeja's good at small unit number engagements. He doesn't quite pick off the Colossus, but he's going to try to sprint a Marauder up, and down it goes. And with that emergency thruster boost, he's heading back home.
Oh, Maniship Core is a little bit out of position. It would be a great pickup. That means no more photon overcharge. There we go. Maniship Core will fall. This is a dicey moment for Deer. It really is. That Colossus is taking a lot of damage. Beautiful snapping fire by Marauders. Taeja.
I mean, Taeja's control with big numbers and small is amazing. He has 10 Marauders, he has 100 Marauders and 10 Ghosts. It doesn't matter. Taeja knows exactly where to position him in these big open spaces. The map that I thought Deer would have the easiest time on, we're seeing Taeja have himself a fall. A bonus Widow Mine doing a little bit of damage as well.
Man, Deer still hanging in there though, and the 4-base Protoss is hella scary, even though the stutter step micro by Taeja was absolutely fantastic for a long time, and he kept resetting the Colossus count over and over again. But as long as he doesn't break Deer, he needs to do something about either the 3rd base economy or the 4th base shot, because if that goes untouched, it's just a matter of time. Like +3 is about to finish up as well. Deer just needs a tiny bit of hope to hang into. And as you said as well, he's great with flanking High Templars. Even though the first fight didn't go his way, you don't really want to play against a 3-3 Protoss. Certainly not one is that is as good as Deer.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, with 4 bases, 67 probes is the count for Deer. Not enough to saturate the 4th base by any means, but with 8 gas geysers, this is where the defensive Protoss shines. You get the opportunity to build way many Templars, Colossus, extra Archons, and of course Stalkers, which people don't give enough credit for being a very gas-heavy unit.
Yes, they are. They're actually expensive units. Sean, I'm a little bit worried right now for Taeja, as he has so many goals in production and some of them just spawned, but the army that he's about to attack with is not the real army of Taeja. Taeja has the 181 supply, which is massive, 114 army supply, which is great. He has a big lead, but this is not his entire army, and if he keeps losing units bit by bit, Deer can definitely find himself in a position where he's going to crush his army of Taeja.
This is getting a little dangerous for Taeja, but his supply lead is still 50. Can those EMPs land? Not on the Templar. There it is. Templar get plummeted down to 0 energy, 0 shield. Taeja not even microing, engaging the Archon, stepping close to them, giving the Marauder hug. And what can you do as Deer? Well, it's going to have to be a sacrifice on the 4th.
Photon overcharge goes down, but it's a little delayed. GG, Taeja will win game number 3 here, and what a fantastic game by Taeja. He lost 16 SCV, Sean, in the early, well, he was down 16 workers.
Wow.
What a great game by Taeja. Taeja just runs off, and he's going to tell his friends. He's like, man,
yeah,
I just played the TVP of my life. Did you see that?
Well, I mean, after 3 games, players are guaranteed a 5-minute break. And by guaranteed, I mean, you know, they get a 5-minute break, Rotterdam. So off Taeja's going to go. He's going to step away. And, you know, we're getting the chance to look at Deer's POV, and we're seeing him not even look at the replay. And I think that's very smart. I think it's one of the most dangerous moves is to rewatch a game of yourself losing to try to find out what went wrong. Unless you're looking for something really specific, it's generally going to be a way for you to convince yourself you're not capable of pulling it together. So I really like the fact that we're seeing Deer just hop in the game and go, all right, cool, Akalon, no problem.
Yeah, he scrolled down the game and build order list a little bit. He's like, oh, yeah, that's right, I did that. The start wasn't too bad, then it kind of slipped away from me. But still, what a fantastic game by Taeja. The way that he handled that one fight, yes, he did have the ghost numbers to deal with High Templars, but every Terran player out there will tell you how hard it is not to eat at least one big storm. But in that fight, Taeja ate 0 storms. And even when he was kind of cleaning it up and the reinforcement coming in, pulled back the Ghost immediately to keep those Ghosts alive.
Yeah.
Then the Ghost moved forward again to EMP the heck out of new additional High Templars. That was a sick fight by Taeja, really beautiful to watch.
Oh yeah, and you know, I think one of the easiest mistakes there is to make is I would even say that this happens to many grandmasters and people who are qualifying in Challenger and low Premier League. It's easy to over micro your Marine Marauder. For every second that your units are moving and retreating,
they're not shooting.
They're not shooting. And Taeja is amazing at, you just see his unit sitting still and you just see little like zhuk, 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 zhuk. It's like he has his units firing so often. And this is what I honestly find very dicey about these ghost rushes. If you go for a ghost rush, you don't have a lot of units. You miss control once, gone. We already saw that twice now, but Taeja's saying this is what it looks like to play a perfect game.
Our fourth map is going to be played on Eklund Waste, which is of course a two-player map. It's one of the more traditional maps in the current map pool here at the StarCraft 2 Global Finals of WCS. It's a map that everyone kind of loves. It's a good map for Protoss, I'd say, because it's very easy to defend your first 3 bases. And once you have 3, normally you should be able to secure 4 as well. Either way, Taeja definitely has some momentum going for him. He can feel confident in the late game as well. He can deal with Deer. That was non-stop aggression. There was flawless macro of Taeja after a far from perfect start. Because that was an uphill battle right from the get-go.
This is a map where I definitely would give a just a general advantage to Protoss players because of how easy it is to get up to 8 geysers. Just how easy it is to corral the Terran army into those nice tight chokes, but I really don't know what Deer's going to bring to the table.
Me neither. I thought his build was
really
good and his start was fantastic in the last game. He just got a little over-eager and he took a fight where, you know, Deer always makes it look like easy and he's on cruise control. But in the last game, Taeja said, enough is enough. I'm going to hold my ground there. He did. Perfect control. And from that moment on, Taeja just played out of his mind. Absolutely fantastic performance by Taeja.
Well, this next map, Akalon Wastes, Game 4 in any best of 5 means that we're at match point. Deer, 1 game away from winning as he was last game. Can he pull it off? Let's introduce our players. In the bottom right-hand corner, the winner of Season 3 WCS in Korea and globally, looking for a world championship. From Seoul, it is Deer.
And over here on the left top side of the map, we got the blue Terran player who played absolutely insane in the last map on Derelict Watcher. We are talking about the Summer Terran, of course, the Liquids, Taeja. Meanwhile, we hear the crowd going crazy in the main hall over here for the main stream of WCS. I am very curious to see, or actually to hear what is going on between Sulky and Naniwa as well. But I guess it can wait, Sean, as, you know, for now all eyes will be on Deer versus Taeja, but if you do know something, you should share it with me, because I cannot wait to.
Well, right now, Sulky leads versus Naniwa 2-0.
Ooh.
Close to getting the 3-0 that a lot of people have been expecting.
Okay, well, now I'm a little less excited. I was very excited because the crowd was so loud. I was hoping at least for an epic 5-game series.
I mean, I know a lot of people were not expecting for a 5-game series, expecting for a 3-game series where Naniwa would 3-0 and you'd get to see him more, but the fact is Sulky has never lost to a foreigner player before, and I'm sure he sees no reason to start now. Deer scouts to the top left-hand position and is not going for a second geyser, so it looks like it's going to be a rather standard game, but, you know, we're seeing Taeja go for what I would generally call a Reaper expand, but that's a very late geyser. That's like a 15 gas out of, or excuse me, 14 gas out of Taeja.
Might be just an even quicker Widowmine drop, like something we saw in the last game that he was aiming for. This is going to open up with a bunch of Marines over here. We will see. This probe is just trying to be as annoying as possible. Of course, we are playing a best of 5 over here. So Deer is at match point. Taeja is going to have to win 2 games on a row. Or in a row, I should say. In Dutch, it's on. It's very confusing.
Very, very difficult situation to come back from. We're seeing that Marine's about to pop out and could line up nicely with a reactor timing. Could also be factory. In this position, a Zealot popping out for Deer is not an unreasonable choice at all. Oh, is it going to be an engineering bay block? Really? Nope, there's the cancel. And there goes down the Nexus. But you know what's also hot on the feet? It's going to be the scout of the SCB, Rotterdam.
Taeja missing a small window there, I feel. Well, not really a window, but a small opportunity, because I would have loved to see him drop that eBay right when the Zealot gets cancelled. Even though I guess Deer wouldn't cancel the Zealot if he could, but maybe Taeja could have just like pretended to block the Nexus a little bit and then waiting to see if Deer actually has a Zealot or not. But that's not the case. Either way, Factory going down already, so we were definitely onto something right, which is good. It's the first time today that we predict something right in this series.
Dude, let's do it. I want to be right once. That's my goal for the day, is to be correct a single time.
They can say, called it.
You see, I predicted that in the future. I have clairvoyance. No, that's weird. Look at that. He's already getting a second gas geyser. I mean, almost never do you see that with a fast mine drop, because players are so eager to throw down their barracks and just be like, look, okay, I was just pretending. I promise that I'm going to be going regular bio. But we see the Robo facility actually going down shockingly early. This looks like a very fast Immortal push.
I'm actually not sure what to think of it. It might just be multiple observers as well for drop play. What I do know is that this build from Taeja is pretty damn greedy, and if Deer would have dropped 4 additional gates, or if this would have been Doc, I think that we'd be looking at a very tricky situation over here. But it seems like Taeja will get away with it, as this is Deer after all. Deer is not really a player that just throws down 4 gateways and hopes that he's going to be able to boss the Terran. This is not how he plays.
Now this is there's the Immortal coming out, so it looks like a rather funky play. I'm trying to think of how this would match up with what it is Taeja's doing. Yeah.
If we see a bunch of sentries being wiped in soon, then I think you were definitely right. 2 additional gates are going down. Even a 3 gate with 2 Immortals early on could definitely deal some crazy damage. But as you said, how is this going to deal with these Widow Mines? Because most likely it's going to be 2 or even 3 Immortals.
Oh no, there's the spot. He's going to get up into the main base, and he sees an Immortal that's trying to hide. Taeja knows everything that's going on. He may very well just cancel his plans and begin to build siege tanks. May begin to get Banshee would probably be a weak play at this point, but bunkers galore, no doubt. The Immortal's like, I swear to God, I'm not an Immortal.
Really, man, it's just Stalker. Then the Reaper's like, why do you do so much damage? You just stop.
There's the siege tank coming. Taeja knows what's going to be en route, and look at that brilliant adjustment. He's bringing a single mine to drop.
I love it. This is so perfect, because just this single mine is really going to mess things up a little bit. At least force the defensive weapon, or maybe force the Mothership Core to stay at home. But this one mine could definitely be very annoying for Deer to deal with. Wow. And above all, even if this slows him down 20-30 seconds, that is enough already. Taeja has a massive, or just like the best read in history on this game so far, and Deer is in a little bit of trouble if he actually decides to commit to this.
This is Taeja's game to win. Oh, look at that, baits the Photon overcharge in the main as well, which means that now those Stalkers gotta stay back home. What do you do in Deer's position? You got a pair of Immortals just hanging out. Tank 2's coming up. There's gonna be a second tech lab en route as well, so now Taeja can just slowly drift back into bio.
We also see the points going down in the main base from Deer, so Deer is definitely transitioning out of this. Of course, he's hoping for at least some damage with this push, or maybe just force Taeja to pull a lot of SCVs, because hey, as a Terran, you'd rather be ahead in pulling SCVs than behind. But we can see Taeja not overreacting. Now we do get a very fun and interesting TVP, Sean, because suddenly we got a bunch of siege tanks out on the map. Now that's not something we see all that often these days.
Definitely not, but I've seen Taeja do this before. He slowly peels it back to a traditional bio mix. Third barracks will no doubt be coming out, but what careful and cautious play. Now Taeja's doing a cool thing. He's lifted his factory, he's getting a barracks and an add-on at the starport, and while that money stockpiles, he can now build a command center. He's even getting +1 attack. He won't be able to really do an aggressive push timing, but he will be able to do an aggressive push timing.
He's gonna try, and I mean, without charge, you could say maybe there's a small window of opportunity, but Taeja seriously doesn't have too many units. Stim is not ready yet. I think it's a little risky what Taeja's doing over here. Sure, he might be able to be very effective and annoying with it, but he's also playing with fire, because without Stim, it's gonna be hard for him to micro his units properly. A couple of tanks get picked up in the medevac now. Sean, what am I watching?
Whoa, it looks like he's going to be doing the swing around all the way to the back side. I mean, that mine at the front.
Oh, maybe some tanks on the low ground.
So much. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is one of the most vulnerable spots on this whole map.
feedbacks would do a lot of damage, would not kill, but
oh my god, he gets the full medevac!
And now he can just run down to the low ground. Here come the Immortal Stalkers and Photon Overcharge helping out as well.
No. Oh, he's lost every single medevac, like you said, playing with fire. Taeja was just on pace to deal obscene damage, threaten Deers any attempt to do anything but defend. And yet just a slight misstep in that feedback batters him down. And again, a Ghost Academy. I mean, Taeja better have defense on the docket for the next 40 minutes.
He does have that third command center about finishing up, or actually I think it finished up already. As we can see it morphing into an orbital command. Second forge going down on the other side of the map. Storm is about to finish up. Deer will see these medevacs. He doesn't have Blink yet, but he can pretend he has and be very scary. Now Ignite Afterburn is being used. He might actually be able to cancel the third base, but at the same time, Taeja, do you still have units at home? Because this represents half your army.
Oh my god, I mean, Deer is one of the few Protosses I would trust to shove in a spot like this. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. He's moving in, and it looks like the natural expansion is completely open and vulnerable. And Deer is not messing around at all. He is going in, and neither is Taeja. Taeja with the target fire. It looks like the shields are down at the natural expansion. We see that the natural expansion is going to go down, but at the same time, Taeja's natural is under huge fire as well.
Taeja has no units in his natural. He was busy dealing with the Warp Prism in the main base. Force fields will go down as well. Sick play with sentries. This is something that really trademarks Deer as well. He uses the sentries in the phase of the game where we often forget about them. The Ghost Academy is taking a lot of damage and will fall before the Mobius reactor finishes off.
It's going to be all small-scale bio-micro for Taeja. That's where he shines, and this army ain't going to get recalled anytime soon. Taeja has the opportunity to chase it down, but his window of opportunity is rapidly depleting. He needs to get in there. He needs to chase it down now.
Yeah, this is your moment, Taeja. There aren't really any High Templars with this army.
Oh, Taeja, no! No. Taeja!
He's rebuilding the Ghost Academy in the main. That basically is telling us that this is going to take a while before Taeja really wants to make something happen again.
And now everything. Oh, Taeja, who had a great set of moves to start with, is going to be running headlong into
that's a good scan. That's a really good scan. He's going to send a couple of Marauders in. Baits a lot of storms over here, though.
And he will get down all 3 storms, but he's going to have to do some strong kiting. That's too many Zealots. The Archon target firing on the medevacs.
So scary. A couple of these medevacs are so low on HP.
Well, looks like he's pulling everything away from his base. His bunkers back home have also finished. He needs to boost. He doesn't have it yet. Where's the cooldown? Oh, it's at like 60% complete when that was going on.
Oh my god.
We finally see the bunkers done. We finally see that Taeja has almost enough to defend, but I mean,
he almost has a single ghost as well. Now this drop is going to be able to deal a little bit of damage on the other side of the map, but Taeja has to worry about his army in the front, even though often the best defense is offense. Well, if that's the case this time, Sean, we're about to figure it out.
Well, there's the Warpin getting canceled. We see the reinforcements, but yet again, Taeja is running the risk of losing his natural. He has to pull home. He's being too aggressive,
great hold position.
Deer is exploiting it brilliantly.
Great hold position on those SCVs, making it hard for those Zealots to really stand on top of the unit, but it doesn't matter.
Deer rages through, showing exactly why he was able to win back-to-back championships. Perhaps his hardest opponent yet has been bested.
Unbelievable.